Dr. Shade is a relationship psychologist known for breaking down hidden emotional dynamics and human behavior in modern relationships. You think manipulation begins with lies, cheating, or obvious mind games. But in reality, the most powerful emotional control rarely looks aggressive. It sounds soft, casual, almost harmless. A few ordinary words spoken in the right tone at the right moment can completely change the balance between two people. Most men never notice it happening. They think they are simply being patient, understanding, supportive, or emotionally mature. But slowly, without realizing it, they begin adjusting their behavior around uncertainty. They wait longer, chase harder, accept less, overthink more. And eventually, they lose their emotional center while trying to keep someone interested. That is why language matters. Words are not only communication, they are emotional positioning. Certain words are designed to create confusion without responsibility. They leave room for interpretation so the other person does all the emotional labor, while the speaker keeps control of the dynamic. And today, we are exposing the 4 words women often use when they want to keep a man emotionally attached without fully choosing him. These words sound innocent on the surface, but underneath them is a test. A test of your confidence, a test of your boundaries, a test of how much uncertainty you are willing to tolerate. And once you understand the psychology behind these words, you stop reacting emotionally and start seeing the pattern clearly. Because the real danger is never the word itself. The real danger is what you become when you keep responding to it. Number 1, busy. When a woman says she is busy, most men automatically assume she is overwhelmed with life, work, stress, family, responsibilities, and sometimes that is true. But when busy becomes a repeated pattern instead of a temporary situation, it begins to reveal something deeper. Because people make time for what emotionally matters to them. A woman who genuinely values a man does not disappear for days while posting constantly online. She does not consistently leave him guessing where he stands. She does not make him feel like attention from her is a rare reward he must earn. When attraction is real, effort becomes visible. That does not mean she talks to you every second. It means consistency exists. The problem is that many men confuse inconsistency with mystery, and inconsistency creates addiction. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It is the same mechanism used in gambling. When rewards come unpredictably, the brain becomes even more emotionally attached because it keeps chasing the next emotional payoff. One day she ignores you. The next day, she sends a warm message. 1 week she disappears. The next week, she suddenly becomes affectionate again. And the man begins living emotionally on emotional breadcrumbs. He checks his phone constantly. He replays conversations. He analyzes response times. He convinces himself that patience will eventually make her appreciate him. But here is the truth. A woman who truly wants a man rarely risks losing momentum with him. She becomes creative. She finds moments. She makes effort visible. Even a short message can communicate interest. The issue is not lack of time. The issue is lack of priority. And this is where many men destroy their own value. Instead of stepping back when effort disappears, they increase their investment. They send longer texts. They become more available. They tolerate uncertainty. They lower their standards in exchange for tiny moments of attention. Without realizing it, they teach her that she can give the minimum and still receive maximum emotional access. The more emotionally available he becomes, the less she feels urgency. And once a woman feels she never has to worry about losing you, she stops valuing your presence. So, what should a man do instead? Simple. Stop rewarding inconsistency. Do not argue. Do not demand explanations. Do not send emotional paragraphs asking for clarity. Just observe the pattern and adjust your energy accordingly. If she creates distance, you stop chasing. If she reduces effort, you reduce access. Not out of anger, out of self-respect. Because a man who constantly tolerates emotional confusion teaches people they can emotionally manage him. But a man who values his time forces others to value it too. And the moment you stop chasing unavailable energy, you immediately become more emotionally powerful. Number 2, maybe. Maybe is one of the most dangerous words in dating because it creates emotional suspension, not rejection, not commitment, just uncertainty. And uncertainty keeps hope alive. A woman says, maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll let you know. Maybe this weekend. And suddenly, the man stops living in the present. Now he is emotionally waiting. He begins organizing his attention around a possibility that may never happen. This is how emotional limbo works. The person using maybe keeps control of the pacing, while the other person remains psychologically attached to an outcome. And many men mistake this for politeness. They think, she just needs time. I don't want to pressure her. I'll be patient. But often, maybe is not about needing time. It is about keeping options open. Because when a woman is genuinely excited about a man, clarity usually appears naturally. Interest creates movement. People move toward what they fear losing. A woman who truly wants you rarely leaves you floating in endless uncertainty while she explores every other option available to her. But men become trapped because they fear walking away. So they continue investing emotionally into someone who has not invested emotionally into them. And every extra effort lowers their leverage. They double text. They send memes. They restart conversations. They offer alternative plans. Meanwhile, she gives no clear answer because she knows he will remain available regardless. This creates a dangerous imbalance. One person becomes emotionally dependent on possibility. The other person controls access. And the longer a man accepts emotional ambiguity, the weaker his position becomes. So how do you break this pattern? You stop treating maybe like progress. You treat it exactly as it is, uncertainty. And emotionally healthy men do not build their lives around uncertainty. Instead of chasing clarity, you step back and allow actions to speak. A simple response changes everything. Let me know when you're sure. Then continue with your life. No resentment, no pressure, no emotional negotiation, because the strongest position a man can hold is emotional independence. The moment you stop waiting around for someone to decide your value, you regain your power. And something interesting happens. When people realize they can lose access to you, they suddenly become much clearer about what they want. Number 3, friend. This word destroys more men emotionally than almost any other, because it often arrives after emotional investment has already happened. A woman looks at a man warmly and says, "You're such a good friend." And immediately, the emotional reality changes. Most men think the friend zone is about kindness. It is not. It is about misplaced emotional investment. Many men believe attraction grows through endless emotional support. So they listen, they comfort, they solve problems, they become emotionally available 24 hours a day. They think closeness automatically creates romantic desire. But attraction does not grow simply because you become useful. In fact, excessive emotional availability without boundaries often removes romantic tension completely. Why? Because attraction requires polarity. A woman must see you as a man with direction, standards, and self-respect, not simply as emotional security she can access whenever convenient. When a man becomes constantly available, he unconsciously enters a caretaker role, and caretaker energy rarely creates desire. Instead, it creates comfort. He becomes the person she vents to after another man disappoints her. He becomes the emotional support system. He becomes the therapist. Meanwhile, the romantic energy goes elsewhere. And many men continue investing because they think loyalty and patience will eventually change her feelings. But attraction forced through emotional service is not attraction. It is dependency. Here is the painful truth many men avoid. If someone enjoys all the emotional benefits of your attention without committing to you, they have no reason to change the arrangement. You are already giving them everything for free. And this is why boundaries matter. Not because women are bad, not because kindness is weakness, but because self-respect must exist alongside emotional generosity. A man who abandons his standards in exchange for emotional closeness slowly loses his identity. So how do you escape this dynamic? You stop over-investing where attraction is absent. You stop making someone the emotional center of your life when they have not chosen you intentionally. You create distance. You redirect your focus. You build your own momentum. And most importantly, you stop trying to convince someone to see your value. Because genuine desire does not need to be negotiated. The moment you stop playing the role of permanent emotional support, something shifts. Either she begins seeing you differently because your energy changed, or you finally free yourself from a dynamic that was draining your confidence. Both outcomes are victories. Because the goal is not to force attraction. The goal is to protect your dignity. Number 4. Hasun, namafo, memafu, tasusun. Few words keep people emotionally trapped longer than soon. Way I and we should hang out soon. I'll call you soon. We'll plan something soon. It sounds hopeful. Optimistic. Encouraging. But often, soon is simply delayed rejection wrapped in soft language. Because real interest creates specifics. Real intention creates movement. A future that genuinely exists usually includes details. A date, a plan, a time, an effort. But soon keeps everything vague. And vagueness allows someone to preserve your emotional attention without making any real investment. This creates what psychologists call future pacing. The promise of a future interaction keeps you emotionally attached even